Chondro, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro, corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro corner where we make our name. Chondro corner, chondro corner, chondro corner, chondro corner, chondro corner, chondro corner, chondro corner. Chondro corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro corner, watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind.
What is up? What is up, everybody? Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, another episode of the Control Corner, episode 37. Welcome here to the Herp Collectors Network. And we got another banger tonight, man. These two men produce the best yellow chondros in the world that I've seen. So we're going to get their mind and, pick their brain on what's going on in the yellow community, man. Going on. But before that, hey, make sure y'all tune in to Herp Collectors Network every Monday. We got the Chondro Corner every Tuesday, retic rundown, and then we got the Mo on Tuesday night as well. Grow House on Wednesday, Clutch Conversations on Thursday, Double Clutch on Saturday, and then you're gonna have to start your week up again with Morph Map on a Sunday, man. Thank y'all. Make sure y'all tune in, like, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. Hey, man, if you're looking for a up-to-date enclosure, hit up my boy Jordan with Heartland Reptiles. He and Mark, I guess tonight, put together some awesome enclosures. Mark can tell you all about them tonight as well. Hey, I've been to this place. Them enclosures are great, man. Enclosures are great. But what's going on, family? Another episode. It's been a busy day. Y'all know I'm active duty in the military, so it's been crazy, y'all. Y'all know what's been going on the news. I can't speak too much about it. It's just been crazy all over Fort Bragg right now. But let's see who's in the chat real quick. My boy CJ, what's going on? Thank you for tuning in, brother. Thank you. My boy Brian, he's in Hatchery. What's going on? And I hope everything going good. Hey, we got Mark double dipping right here. Daniel, what's going on? Happy Monday. Oh, yeah. Mark saying, what's going on, everybody? Oh, yeah. Oh, excuse me. I'm sorry. But without further ado, let's bring on tonight's guest. We got Mark, Texas Chondros. And then we have Dan, Red Earth Reptiles. Thank you for tuning in. Thank y'all for coming on, honestly.
Oh, it's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And Rode, before we get started, man, I know it's there's some crazy things going on in the U.S. and around the world, but man, I want to thank you for the way that you serve our country and just the sacrifices you've made. And
8 more years, man. 8 more years. That's it.
Yeah.
Man,
you're cut from a different cloth, man, and I'm super proud of you and just the way that you step up to serve. So thank you, bud. Thank you.
But yeah, man, what's been going on with y'all? Thank y'all for have y'all back on the show. I was talking to Dan. I believe after our interview, Dan, I was like, what would be a dope episode to have you and Mark on. Y'all produce some of the world's best, yellow neonates, chondros, and it'd be dope to pick y'all mind and have y'all two on together. So hey, we made it happen. I'm glad that we could make it happen.
Well, I appreciate that, but I just think I'm just having a go, really. Yeah. I think there's some better yellow chondros out there, but we'll see some today, no doubt. But yeah, I think it's an there's so much untapped potential in yellow chondros. Absolutely. I always think that there's so for color and pattern, I think there's some really wild stuff that can be produced. And in many ways, it's kind of analogous to how the carpet python breeders breed. They're breeding for color and pattern. I think that yellow chondro certainly can do that.
Yeah, no doubt. And I think in, it's like people forget that yellow neos and red neos are the same species. And so all this hard work that's been done to put in, color and, the craziness into the red neos, it's like, guys, that's possible in yellow neos too. Like, it's the same species, if someone just does the work, then it's completely possible.
For sure.
I
So, like,
100% agree.
Where do y'all like to start at, building blocks with yellow neos?
Hey, let the future talk first. Dan's on a Tuesday right now, so
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's the important thing. I think for the US viewers is to know just my context. We don't have, being in Australia, you think that we've got access to all sorts of, chondros. We just don't. And the reality is that a lot of my collection started with very few chondros, and you just play to the strengths of those animals. And my animals happen to have blue coloration, and things like that. And so over time, given the animals that I have access to, I just applied that selection force, I guess, on my holdbacks and breeding. So, as Mark said, it's so much effort went into red neonates, dark red neonates. Well, for me, I've tended to focus on color and pattern, particularly breeding to hormonal blue females, and working on that sort of thing. But I know with you, Mark, you're in a completely different realm. It's almost like, hey, here's a bunch of yellow neonates that exhibit similar characteristics to all of this work that's gone on the red side, with your blacks and stuff. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it is, I think you and I have collections that phenotypically look very different, but ultimately we're doing the same thing. Like, man, I'm looking for color and pattern just as much as you are, and so I think you bring up a really good point. Is in keeping green tree pythons, like, you really, unless you're buying already changed adults, I think our hobby is different from a lot of the other species in that you have to deal with the cards you're dealt. And so, it's like, if you're buying unchanged neos, you don't really know what project you're going down until they change, unless you're just concerned about working with a particular bloodline or a particular locality and saying, well, like, if it's calico or blue line or whatever, then I can just acquire neonates and it doesn't matter. But if you're wanting a specific look, then it can become really challenging at times if the neonate isn't portraying that particular look yet, so sometimes it really is just dealing, or like playing the cards you're dealt the best way you can and forming a project almost retroactively, saying, man, this snake turned into something crazy, and now I can start building the project around it after I see what it turns into. And so I do think chondro projects are just different in a lot of ways than the other species allow.
Yeah, I agree. And then we just have such high mortality rates and low fecundity, and the time it takes before a female is reproductively able to produce a good clutch. And it's just, I think, I look at my collection and think, oh man, where I need to get it, I need to find I've got a couple of sons, and I need one of them to really get excited by it.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I don't know about you, but I've had perfect females, a perfect pair, start cooling them down, and she rolls on me, and it's like, wow, that was 7 years. You know?
Yeah.
And for us, we just can't go out and buy a new one. And so, you know, we're sort of trying to breed in a telephone box a lot of the time, and we have such
Limited resources.
Yeah, absolutely. And so every animal in my collection, you know, is treated like a racehorse. You know, like
Yeah. Well, but also even the best laid plans, you know, go out the window sometimes. Like,
absolutely.
You know, I had somebody messaging me today about this high yellow calico animal that I have, Humble Pie, and he's gorgeous. He's awesome, dude. He's a great snake, and he has no interest in breeding. And yeah. I've tried him for like 5 years, and still he's probably 11 years old now, and it's like,
yeah, wow,
God, come on, man. Like
yeah.
So it even when you have the right snake or the right look, or, you know, just whatever, you can, you know, the perfect pairing, and the animals can die, or they can continue to live and not do anything for you. So the green tree hobby is, like you said, Dan, it's not a turn and burn hobby. It's a long game
investment,
because everything takes so much time, but then also there's so much just uncertainty going into every project, going, man, here's plan A, and here's plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, down the line, because plan A very well might not work out.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I was just talking to Dan about that backstage. I was letting him know, well, I have about, as I know, probably about 6 females. I have 2 males, a sarong, and then a Bill's animal designer. So, you know, fingers crossed with that. I think I'm about a year and a half, 2 years from breeding and starting to pair, because I brought everything from, you know, neonates or like real small subadults. So, you know, yeah, that's why I'm at in my career with, you know, breeding and standpoint with that.
Yeah. I think, you know, kind of going back to your original question of, man, how do you build a yellow neo project or anything? You know, I think in a lot of ways, like we can look at what has been done with the red neos and just take notes from that. Like, man, if you're getting the right bloodlines, if you're getting, you know, the right looks, the right, you know, whatever, I really don't think it's any different. And it's, for me, it feels really unfortunate that people do think it's different. And so, but yeah, you know, I think if you get the right neos from the right parents, then that's a great start. And man, you know, Chuck is in the chat right now. Chuck, like, one of his projects that he's going after is like, man, he wants the animals with the biggest, boldest blue stripe all the way down the animal. And it's like, dude, that's an easy project to look for right out of the egg, because, you know, a neo is going to exhibit that bold stripe, you know, pretty immediately, and show, you know, hey, the one with the darkest, boldest, most continuous stripe, that's awesome. And is it inheritable? Heck yeah, it is. Like, absolutely. Is it going to take time and finding the right animals, and probably a lot of heartbreak, for sure. but that's chondros in general. So not any different than anything else.
Do y'all think, you know, speaking of neos and stuff, and, you know, bright boldness, how about the blaze neos, and, you know, just, I guess, like, you know, the dirty, muddy yellow neo, Are they similar to, you know, the bright or the brick red red neos and, you know, the dark neos? Is that like a similarity?
I have no experience, so I don't know.
Yeah, I honestly I haven't seen many Blaze Neos from Australia. Like, do you guys have that very often?
I haven't. I personally haven't seen any.
Yeah, yeah, I know it. Well, I'm gonna say I know. I don't know anything, but I have seen. It's my understanding that the southern types don't really exhibit many blaze patternings very often. But it's more. It seems to be more prevalent in localities that have mixed clutches, like yellow and red clutches. That being said, there are bloodlines that I think, you know, it's like with the triple Walsh blue line. Like if you want high probability of a blue animal, then you're going to take the darkest red, like nearest to black neo possible. Does that neo always end up turning blue? No, but it's a high probability, or it's the highest probability that you could count on. There are bloodlines and different, you know, different snakes with lineages and everything that I think the blaze does end up in a more extreme form, but there's also plenty of instances where the blaze doesn't really amount to anything. And so, you know, the unfortunate thing is, and this is the thing that I'm going to say 7,000 times during this episode. So just get ready, I guess. The unfortunate thing is that I don't think there's enough people that have done it and worked the project to actually be able to have like a solid answer on, hey, do blaze, like which bloodlines does blaze work the best in, which one doesn't work the worst in, you know?
Yeah.
So
and is there a correlation between the blaze and the adult phenotype that you're looking for as well?
Right. Yeah, because I've produced some killer blaze neos from all yellow clutches, and they look freaking awesome as baits. Like Ro, I don't know if you can pull it up, but in my Jack Fiona clutch, there was one baby that, oh dude, it like had red like all the way down it, bright yellow, and it was a rad looking blaze. And ultimately it turned out cool. It had some black on it, and ended up really, you know, just a middle of the line for the clutch, but it definitely wasn't like the standout once they all changed.
Talking about the real neo. I think this is it right here. Hold up one moment. I think this is it.
Yeah, I think the picture I sent you was like in front of a bunch of flowers or something. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, I thought that okay, in front of a bunch of flowers.
No, that's not it.
Yeah.
No, we don't have to dwell on it either. But yeah. So I mean the the long and short of it is man, I think the blaze is gorgeous, and if there's someone, you know, I don't know of anyone that's like intentionally bred a blaze animal to a blaze animal to see if they can produce a bunch of blaze animals. I think that'd be a project.
Was it very dark pattern kind of?
It was, I mean, yeah, the red was like really, really bright. I'll message it to you on Facebook.
Okay.
If I can get it to you.
Okay.
Are you finding, Mark, that there's a particular look of a neonate that you're looking for? Is there anything, you know, as you said before with your blue line, you're going to try and pick the darkest chocolate neo on the blue line that you can. Are you finding anything with your neonates, or is it still fairly random for you? You look at them and go, okay. But is there something that you're looking for in your holdbacks at all?
Yeah, so what I have begun to find within the prominent line that I work with, it seems that the brightest yellow tend to be like the craziest adults. Instead of, where with the red neos, it's like you go for the darkest whatever. But with the ones that I've worked with, I've seen, and it's so it's so subtle because for whatever reason, I think it's probably just the way that our human eyes are built or whatever. But with the red neos, it's super easy to distinguish bright red from dark red, right? You can see a fire truck red neo and a almost black neo, and you're like, dude, the black one for sure. But with the yellow neos, like there absolutely is a variation of color, and it's hard to see unless you really like put them all together, or if you have them all in a rack. Like it's easiest to see when right out of the eggs, they're all hatching, they're all like clumped together, and you can see a difference in the brightness of their yellow is, some are like highlighter neon yellow, and some are more of a pastelish yellow that I would say is way more subtle and muted. And even the patterns on them, some of their patterns are like the outline of everything is red, and some of it is purple, and some of it is black outline pattern. And so it's all those subtleties that we like. For me, I try and keep a couple of each looks so that I can say, oh man, it seems like 3 years later, this has produced the best results from that type of neo in this bloodline. So for me, it has oftentimes been the brightest colored neos, the brightest yellows that really turn out to be the big standouts.
How about you, Dan? Like in your experience, like what works best for you when keeping holdbacks?
Yeah, I think my project's probably a bit like Chuck's, where I'm looking for bold pattern, because that pattern will turn blue. So for me, I have on the whole, sometimes I pick some standout patterned animals that just turn out to be fairly green. But I find that if I'm picking really strong pattern and black pattern, and the yellow for me tends to be almost like a lemon yellow, then in the adult snake, I tend to get the contrast. So I tend to, because then the green tends to be, less. It's a lighter green, so the blue is standing out much more against that. And then in some of my animals, I will start to get some speckling, some black speckling through those animals as well. And that usually happens quite early on in OCC. I start to see almost red pigment, like a blaze almost, coming out on the animal as well. And I'll be like, oh, that's one I'm going to keep, because 9 times out of that 10, that turns into, it's not even, it is black, but a lot of it's actually even gold. So it's quite a cool thing. And for me, it's much more about pattern. And that pattern in my selection has also the ventral scales I've been selecting for as well. So I'm looking for blue ventral scales, not just in the back third, but right up to underneath the chin as well. So that's been a cool thing. It's been a sort of an unexpected side product.
Have you seen correlations with like which neos exhibit that later on. 'Cause
Yes.
obviously they're not hatching out with, blue ventrals and blue lips
Yeah.
and blue chins.
Exactly. They actually have, when you look at the neo underneath, they're actually on the ventral scales, they have red patterning on the ventral scales.
Yeah.
And they're super cool because I know most of the time, if the animal is exhibiting green and blue and white for me, and no yellow, those females tend to go on to be quite amazing hormonal blue females as well. But
Yeah.
if there's any yellow in them at all on the labial scales or anything like that, they tend not to in my collection for some reason. So I'm looking for that white and blue and green animal with a green that's much more of almost a pastel bluey color.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah.
So
There's a lot of animals that you have that have that, like, it's like a turquoise green.
Yes.
It's not it's not that when you think of like the Morelia viridis, it's like okay, it's like a forest green with white. But a lot of the animals in your collection, they definitely have that like aquamarine color or that turquoise green color. That's really cool.
Yeah, agree. And it's funny, if the average person comes into my collection and I show them two snakes, one being a red, or even some of my best red neonates that has melanism on it, compared to one of those blue snakes with that sort of, I describe as that pastel bluey green. 10 out of 10. Those people go, wow, that's incredible. Well, what about this one? This one, this one cost me an absolute arm and leg. Oh yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
So it's super interesting that I think it's contrast. I think our eye is really sees contrast, and when you see contrast in a snake, people are like, wow, that's really super interesting.
Yeah.
And I think blues and greens are pleasing to the eye as well. So
yeah. Well, and I think the same can be said for showing the lay person two different neos. Like, you show them a red neo, you show them a yellow neo, and say, which one do you think is better? And there, a lot of the time, I don't know if it's like 9 out of 10, but a lot of the time people are struck by that bright yellow snake and go, oh my gosh, I didn't know snakes could be this color. That's cool. And for so many green tree keepers, that's what brought them into the hobby, was that yellow neo. And then they learn about the designers, and they start following Bill's account, and they see how awesome it is. And so
and in my world, I want everything. I want to be able to have a couple of different lines going, and I think it. I think yellows have got so much potential, and it's cool. Like, this animal is on the screen now. Like, that's just wild. Look at that.
That's one of the best yellow neos I've seen. Like,
yeah, and that one turned out cool, but it wasn't the standout of the clutch for sure. So that one is a sibling to Muse and Warpaint, which I would say were like the standouts. And they had, I think Muse had a little bit of blaze on him, and Warpaint didn't at all. Warpaint was bright yellow.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that one I was like, dude, that's a banging neo.
Oh yeah.
But it didn't amount to like some crazy phenotype afterwards.
Yeah.
Dan, one of the things you said was the belly, belly scales, and I've noticed in some of my yellow neo projects is like I have one right now whose belly is like black.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I actually didn't even notice until I took it out like earlier this week or like into the last week. I took it out and I was like, I haven't gotten this snake out in a while. And I took it out. I was like, dude, it is black, like jet black, like from halfway all the way down to its tail.
Yeah, wow.
And I, it's like,
that's it.
It's sick.
That's sick.
But you never see it. because
no, I don't.
because he's perched. So I'll get it here in a second. But
Yeah, it's cool.
yeah,
I had a customer reach out to me and say, "Hey, Dan, like this snake I got off you has just gone through OCC and it's got this blue belly, but it's got all these like black scales all underneath its blue belly. You know, is there something wrong with it?" And I'm like, "No, it's another one I shouldn't have sold."
Matter of fact, no, yeah, something wrong with it. Yeah,
Send it back. Send that back.
I can get you a good one. I can get you.
You know, and it was just, you know, every scale had this sort of you know, how the scallop of black on the underneath, and I was on blue scales, and I was like, "Oh, you're kidding."
Let's see this right quick.
Yeah, see if I.
That thing is.
So
yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
It's super cool, but then, like,
Yeah, wow.
Yeah,
look at that.
That thing looked neon. Well, the color on it looked neon yellow, like.
Yeah, so like all the way down from like, you know, it's got some black on its belly up top, but this like stripe all the way down, and then it just gets like ink black.
Yeah.
Like,
is this the first time you ever seen this?
I've seen snakes with like some like speckling of black, but I've never seen it with this like belly stripe. Like that's pretty wild, right?
That thing is, yo.
Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Mark, man, you every time I see your collection, it's always something new. You know, it's
honestly, me too. Every time I see it, there's something new.
It's something new, man.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't notice that this one even had a black belly on it until like last week.
Wow.
But it's stuff like that man, if there's no one like taking the reins and leading the charge on figuring out, you know, if belly pattern is inheritable, or, you know, could you create a green tree that has a completely black belly? Probably.
And none of the siblings came out with that black scale, the black belly scales.
I don't know, maybe. I have to go look at them, I guess.
Yeah. For sure. Well, let's look at this pairing right here. And then some of the siblings, I believe, from this pairing. This is, I forget.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, trying to pull up.
Yeah, so Fiona was the female there, and Jack was the male. Both of them yellow neos with just a bunch of melanism. And so it really was my dream pairing because of the way they turned out. Like, looking as adults, if one of them would have been a red neo, it still would have been my dream pairing, because man, they just both had a lot of black on them. And but they were both kind of oddballs. They were both yellow neos and had a ton of black. And so I paired them up in 2019, and she was a super small female. I think when I bred her, she was 7 years old and like under 600 grams. Like, probably like she was small.
Wow.
Probably in that like 500. I think I weighed her. I didn't weigh her before I started pairing her, but I weighed her after she laid, and she was like 250 grams. Like,
whoa,
like real small.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
like a piece of adult.
Yeah, and she gave, but she was 7 years old, so she had the age. You know, I tried. There was a couple of years where I tried feeding her, like, okay, I'm gonna like up her meal, or, you know, I'm gonna feed her a couple days extra or whatever. And she, you know, she's just small. But she ended up laying 7 eggs, and I think 5 of them went the distance and hatched. And that's where Muse, Warpaint, and Crow all came from, as well as that Blaze Neo. So I gave the Blaze one to Matt Morris, and he still has it down there. But yeah, Muse, Warpaint, and Crow all came from Jack and Fiona.
And then
Wow.
I think these are some of the neonates from the pairing right here.
Yeah, and it's funny, like, yeah, so that's Muse, and that's when he's looking his best. So, he's like a yearling, like, starting to develop color, and so he's like in between that color change. He still looks phenomenal, don't get me wrong, but yeah, like, for me, I looked at that pairing and I was like, okay, so here's two adults that have an awesome look. You pair them together, and that first generation, like, you get something like this. So it's not like, there's plenty of people, like, you talk about Marshall Mendez with the albino. He's been chasing that thing for a decade. And for me, it's like, dude, I did one generation of selectively bred yellow Neos and got crazy results. And so it seems pretty simple to me, right? Like,
yeah.
And that original pair, were they related at all, Mark?
No. So Jack was from Rob Worrell lineage.
Yep.
And had tons of like cool selectively bred, quote unquote, designer stuff with it. And then Fiona was a locality cross. She was a Merauke Biak.
Okay, cool.
And just happened to turn out pretty extreme. So
yeah.
But then,
and I think
I
think this just reiterates, those northern southern crosses and the propensity to throw melanism as well, right?
Yeah. Just another sib from that with Neo.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, I definitely think that the northern southern crosses have a big role in some of the, like, crazy coloration with it. Yeah, so that's Warpaint, and he just sired his first clutch for me this year. But yeah, I mean, dude,
super cool.
But again, it's, this wasn't some, like, decade in the making. This was taking two of the right snakes, pairing them together, and getting something awesome. And I think that's some of the magic of chondros. But also, I hope that it's encouraging to people about yellow Neos. Is, dude, it's the same game. It's, if you can have two of the right snakes and you pair them together, man, you can get wild results. And those, those yearlings they're probably about 2 years old right there, but that's a testament to it. Like, it's not brain surgery. You take pretty snakes and you breed them together and you're going to get pretty snakes.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think there's this this thing in Australia right now where, someone will have a red neonate adult that's just green, and they'll cross it to a yellow adult that's also just green, and they'll expect miraculous things to happen, and it's just not the case.
Yeah.
The challenge we have here in this country is that as soon as you produce a red neonate, you can command between $4,000 and $5,000 for that snake, regardless of what it came from. And the reality is that a lot of those snakes, they go through this really cool OCC, there's a bit of melanism, but at 2 years old, it's just a green snake. Yeah. And so I think it just reiterates that. I think there's a line in Maxwell's book. You take two good parents, two interesting parents, extreme parents, doesn't matter what they are, and you cross them together, and you're going to likely get some interesting babies.
Yeah.
So, and it's the same game. And it's interesting to me that this is, yellow is a recessive trait, and you think that working on a recessive trait, well, you would think that would be a key, when everything else, if you think about all the other,
at least be desirable for people
You
to
think
work
so?
with. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Sure.
when people think of designer chondros, you know, people think of, you know, red neonates and stuff. But hey, this is proof right here that, you know, you can make some crazy, insane stuff from yellows.
Yeah. And he still looks very similar to that. Like that wasn't just a change, you know, a changeling picture. You know, I think a lot of the
Yeah.
time, you know, obviously you want to take the best pictures of your snakes, and
Mhm.
often they look best when they're in that, like, that middle ground. You know, what are they going to turn out to be? But yeah, Muse very much still looks like that. He's insane looking. So
Definitely, man. Crazy pairing.
I think we're in a time when you look even to Europe, there's plenty of evidence, you know, to show that there's some wild things out there. And
So, like, what line are y'all working with over there in Australia, Dan?
well, there's some interesting things. That there are some high yellows in Australia that are sort of hidden away in collections. Some really, really, really impressive high yellow animals.
yeah,
There's blue line here as well. There's just not a lot of them on the red side as well. And then there's a ton of just locality cross type animals. But
Mhm.
we just don't have yet those repeatable, hereditable traits like a calico line or something like that. We're just not there yet. Now,
Mhm.
not saying that there could be secret away in collections all over the country. Who knows? We're a bit different like that in Australia. We're not so keen to throw ourselves stuff out there as well. So yeah, so there's a lot of, you know, like hormonal blue animals like this, the yellows. I think they're just super cool. People just sort of go,
That
oh,
belly is white as what?
yeah, that's a super cool animal, and
Yeah.
that belongs to a friend of mine.
Mhm.
But it's like, you know, people go, oh, it's just a hormonal blue animal. Yeah, but that's sick. You know,
Yeah.
like,
Is this the same animal as well? I'm bringing it up right now.
yeah. It is
no,
so funny how,
that's my
like,
animal.
it's
Okay,
funny how
so these are two different separate animals.
Yeah, completely
Oh
different.
man.
yeah, but it's funny how people, like, snub, like, oh well, it's just hormonal blue. It's not, and you're like, dude, blue is blue. like, like I,
So,
I don't know, I
Yeah,
don't know what
like,
you want from me. Like, that's a blue snake. Like, and
yeah.
that's
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. When I pull this female out, you know, and if my mother-in-law goes, "Oh my gosh, that's incredible," hey, that's a win.
Yeah.
You know, when someone who hates snakes completely, and they're like, "Okay, wow, this is not what I expected,"
Mhm.
Yeah.
you know. So
Y'all,
Yeah.
we
Have
showing
you
all
have you
yellow
done?
neos tonight. Just, you know, just for the people out there, we showing all yellow neonates. We trying to convert y'all over to the yellow side. Come on.
Yeah. Come on over. There's plenty of room. Come on.
Yeah.
Dan, have you noticed any correlation with animals that turn hormonal blue, having a propensity to have, like, future generations that also turn hormonal blue?
well, I think this is where I'm fortunate that this female is the third in line. The mother, the grandmother, it's hormonal blue.
Mhm.
It's even produced females that, even at 3 years old, not being bred at all, have turned blue as well. So I think there's definitely a trait, that's a heritable trait, definitely 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
So in following the project, how do you determine what male to breed it to?
yeah,
Like,
that's a good.
because
So
obviously if you want blue females to, like, continue to be blue, but
yeah,
if it's a hormonal thing that only is,
yeah,
pretty much like a sex linked trait.
yes.
Yeah.
So what I've done is I've only taken males that have come from hormonal blue females that are the most heavily patterned males.
Oh, okay. So like the biggest, boldest,
The
like,
boldest patterns, yes.
yeah, that have
Blue,
the most, like, blue pattern on them, they go
correct.
to. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
That's what I do.
Mhm.
So that's what I've been doing over some generations there, looking on the male side. So always select for pattern as a neonate, and then we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what I've been doing.
And in pattern, are you looking for just the thickness and boldness of it? Are you looking for the busyness of it? Are you looking for the darkest pattern versus the
all three of those. Yeah.
And then with this one, I like this one, even though it's not blue, it's that mustard green.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a super cool animal. This was produced by a friend of mine, Darren. And it has this this stripe down it that's actually, I can only describe it as grey.
Yeah, it's like silver.
Yeah. It's got a lot of silver. And this animal's super cool too, because it's got these blotches of color on it too. So almost paradox. It's hard to pick up, but it's a cool animal.
Yeah.
But you think he's 4 years old, and I tried to breed him this year. Do you think he wants to breed? No.
Of course. Why would the pretty want to breed? Yeah, that's sick. Well, and like, I feel like mustard is one of those traits that in the past we saw people with like a ton of mustards in their collection, and that it was something super, maybe not super popular, but it was at least like one of the color traits that people had as desirable to recreate. And now there might be like 2 or 3 people that are like intentionally trying for mustards in the US at least. And so, man, I think mustard is a highly underrated look in chondros, and man, that one's killer. I love that one.
So Dan, what would you breed this to? Over there.
Well, do you know what? I do have other mustards, but I'd like to do something kind of crazy with that. I'd like to breed it to a blue snake, another yellow blue animal. I don't know. I think that would be interesting. I did hear. I was listening to some podcast where they were saying that some of my animals are Aru types, and when you breed some yellows to Aru types, they tend to produce some high yellow animals. So I don't know if that's true or not, but
there have been plenty of pairings that I've seen where a high yellow animal bred to an Aru type has led to some high yellow animals. I've also seen it where they all turn out green, and that's fine too. But there is some, at least in the past, there has been some maybe semi-correlation with like Arus having a slightly higher propensity to be able to have high yellow when bred to high yellow.
I also love what Dan was talking about over in the UK, well, over in Europe, the glacier line. We have some of those photos too.
Yeah, glacier's sick.
Look at that thing. Seriously.
That thing is.
Yeah, that's Marion Clatts, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, in my opinion, I think that's probably one of the best chondros ever. In my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, the high yellow with bold blue, that's definitely a coveted look that has not been achieved very often. And the glacier line, the king line in Europe are, I think Europe is decades ahead of every other country in yellow neo projects.
Yeah.
Do they have like as many breeders or people working with chondros over there than the US?
Yeah, it does seem to be popular, and I don't, it's hard to compare anything to the US because one, we as Americans are incredibly loud everywhere we go. And so we love to show off and we love to, strut our stuff. But we also have, some of the best lines the oldest lines, like the first captive bred green trees were here in the States, and from there it just continued to grow and grow. So we definitely have a head start, and we definitely have a ton of advantage with the designer lines that were laid out in the 80s. But Europe is right there with the yellow neo stuff they have. Yeah, specifically King line and Glacier line are unreal.
Yeah, for sure, man. Them things are real nice, real nice.
Yeah.
The day I make something like that, oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'm chilling. That's it. I'm chilling. But what you sent me earlier today as well, Mark, about this yellow cyclops. I never seen yellow cyclops before.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting project for me. So those are not my animals. Full full disclosure. They are in Texas, so that's sick.
Everything in Texas. Everything is in Texas.
Yeah. So there's a fantastic just snake breeder in general. Her name's Kristen, and she runs Fascination Herp, and typically deals with a bunch of venomous stuff. But she imports a ton of stuff from Indonesia and whatever. And so she acquired this yellow cyclops. It's not an albino. It has black eyes. It's for all intents and purposes, it's just pure yellow. And she bred it to an Aru and got a clutch of eggs and said, I don't want to sell these. So she gave them to Gary Chavino to sell. So I purchased 2 of them from Gary. And currently they look like mid-range Arus. Like they are green with some white speckling, whatever. But my thought process is that I am banking or hoping, or at least thinking, that what's going on in the female, which we've seen in other snakes over time, like snakes out of Indo, from Cyclops, from Jayapura, from just different localities have exhibited this all yellow trait. And so my thought process is perhaps it is a recessive trait that could be inherited. So I got 2 snakes, and praise the Lord, they turned out to be male and female, at least at this point. They are showing as male and female. And so my plan is to breed them together to see if they produce yellow snakes. And my, obviously they're yellow neos. So I'm going to hold back the whole clutch and see what develops out of it.
Cool. Well, it's interesting. That's kind of what I was getting at. So that's what I was kind of getting at with that mustard male that I've got, because he's a Highland type animal. So I want to try the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like the amount of.
Oh, lost Mark for a second. Just for a second. Can't hear you. Dan, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. No worries.
Yeah, man. Just a little technical difficulty right now.
I think this is a good point.
Sorry. Sorry.
There we go. But Santos had a question real quick. Random question: does anyone know what are the localities that the Glacier line is based upon?
I thought they were Sarong Biak originally.
Mhm.
That's what
Yeah.
I thought.
I don't know. I know that the king line was out of high yellow sarongs, which is just, kind of an oddity in itself. But I don't know what the glacier is based out of. The animals that come out of it are wild. Sorry, but the thing I was saying about the yellow cyclops stuff, it's, man, I don't think there's enough people that are taking chances on those little nuances or those projects that could produce something. Like, why, in every snake species that we keep in captivity, there's all these, genes and, morphs and polygenic traits and everything that are recessive and co-dominant and dominant, all these things. And yet here in green trees, I understand that they're different, but they're also snakes. And yes, we have the albino. Okay, great. Well, then obviously there should also be other traits and other
recessives.
other things that can pop out. And so that's this this side project that will probably amount to nothing, and it's probably going to create a bunch of green snakes with little white dots, and nothing will ever come out of it. But if someone doesn't try it, then we don't know what comes out of it. And so my plea to the chondro community is, start trying stuff and see a project through that's going to take years, because it's worth it for the community.
Yeah.
And it's just fun. It's just fun too, right? This is just fun. We're not saving lives here.
Right. Another thing I want to talk about is, possibly chimeras. From my understanding, it's been, 2 yellow neonates that made a red recently, something like that. So, what y'all thought on that?
I definitely needed a drink before this question.
I'm not sure. From my research, yellow and yellow supposed to make a yellow. You know, red and red.
It's AI, bro. It's AI, mate. It's AI.
Yeah. So the understanding is that yellow is the recessive.
Yeah.
Red is the dominant.
Mm-hmm.
And then super red is the co-dominant, right? So then how does a yellow snake bred to what is commonly referred to in the chondro community as the rotten banana, where it's a yellow snake with these red blotches? How do you classify that? How do you classify this this yellow snake with red blotches? Is it yellow? Is it red? Is it both?
Yeah.
And it seems like what we have learned, I think some people have known for a while, but it seems like it's coming back to the surface right now, is that the rotten banana chondros are chimeras, where they're essentially 2 snakes. They're a red snake and a yellow snake that are fused together into one and carry both sets of the color genes, which essentially makes them a red het yellow. And so if a red het yellow is bred to a double yellow, the double recessive, then you are going to create some red snakes. So I don't see it throwing off the Mendelian genetics and tossing us all for a loop, but it is funky, and those rotten banana chondros, they're crazy looking. I've never hatched one, but yeah, they're wild.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's like there's a distribution of the RYs. There's a distribution of the yellows. There's a distribution of the dominant reds. It's just maybe just up one end of the distribution of coloring. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're
Yeah, and someone recently was making or at least asking the question of, hey, has anyone ever had a rotten banana chondro that is a female? Because apparently, like the chimera, at least in other species, it tends to be a sex-linked, dysfunction. I don't know. It's not really a mutation because I don't think it's inheritable, but it tends to be in males. And so then people are chiming in going, oh yeah, my rotten banana was a male. Mine was a male too. Mine was a male too. And so it all starts to come forward and make a little bit more sense when the more pieces of the puzzle are creating the picture.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah.
So where do y'all see the future for yellow neos?
Bright.
Did y'all hear me?
Yeah, bright yellow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I think we're just down the road of we just, I think we're just down the road of the selection process, right? And it'd be interesting to see what Mark does in time, and we can already see what's happened with the Glacier line stuff. Like, I think that was produced back in the 90s, right? Originally, way back. So, so I think it's just going to be more extreme. They'll do something crazy, like they'll cross them with a red. But
for sure,
because it was interesting, I saw on Marion's IG that some of those yellow neos were sort of orange, and it's like, wow, this is sort of a whole new redefining of what is, what is this now? It's a sort of like, again, talk about this idea of there's a distribution within yellow neonates. So I find that just fascinating. These orange. Are they red? Are they
just
yellow?
like what, just with the bright orange diamonds, the white diamonds.
Well, the yellow itself was orange.
Yellow diamonds.
Yeah. Well, in this case, in this particular clutch, the yellow itself was this orange, I guess.
Yeah. It wasn't a red neo. It was an orange neo, like that blaze neo that you showed earlier. It was like that, but all over, and making the Glacier line is definitely a testament to, man, that's a bloodline that the like crazy blaze, like full orange-ish animals that are coming from yellow to yellow parents. Man, they turn out fantastic. So yeah, I think right now, with at least here in the US, with the popularity of green trees, growing at an astronomical rate, I think the future for yellow neos has the potential to be super, incredible. Like, the problem is those pesky red neos. It's easy to jump on board with the red neos, and trust me, I have some red neos that they're
crazy ones.
They're good looking. I deny that at all. But there's also 40 years, 50 years of refinement that have gone into creating those snakes. And, when are we gonna start or maybe the better question is, when are we gonna look back at the start of the refinement of the yellow neos? Because it all that it requires is somebody to take the reins and own it. And so with a bunch of people getting into green trees right now, I hope
you got somebody right here you know, that's owning it right here.
Well, yeah, but I hope more people see it and say, "Oh, dude, like man, I can do this with yellow neos. I can get black snakes. I can get high blue snakes from yellow neos. Like, dude, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I'll go that direction and try it out. And so that's my hope, and I think the possibility is there.
For sure, for sure. We had someone in the comments asking for a picture of a rotten banana. Let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah, I can find one.
Excuse me for a minute, guys. I'm just going to jump off camera for a second. Hang tight.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's that was one right there that I found. So that is a crazy one though. For sure.
Yeah. I mean that's a great representation of one, because you can see, like, if you only look at that snake's head, it's a red neo, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But then you look at the rest of it, and clearly there's yellow. So yeah, the current understanding is that it's a chimera, which is the, you know, kind of like splicing and zippering back together of two animals, which is wild.
Yeah. I wonder if, like, you know, how that snake turned out. You know, that was from a picture from 2018 on you know, one of the Facebook pages.
Yeah, typically the rotten bananas don't, all the ones that I've seen do not turn into anything particularly interesting as adults. That they, you know, they tend to be a typical green-ish chondro. That it doesn't really affect the adult pattern much. But so I think Joe Westgate is one who recently had a clutch from a adult that was a rotten banana bred to a yellow neo, and ended up getting both reds and yellows. So just kind of solidifying that fact of that rotten banana obviously has red and yellow in it, or else it wouldn't be able to produce a red.
And this right here, this is another one, another rotten banana.
Imagine, you know, I can't even imagine if I hatched that out. You'd hear me yelling from Australia.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they're cool. They're super cool looking. That's for So that's David Brahms.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, you see, you know, that head. If you just looked at the head and not the rest of the body, it's a red snake.
Yeah.
And if you look at the rest of the body, it's yellow.
And this was the end, you know, the end of its OCC point right here. That's what it turned out to be. It's still a great, you know, it's still a great chondro.
Yeah. Wow, really? Wow, that was it.
Yeah. So they typically, from everything I've seen, they don't turn out particularly interesting in regards to like the designer aspect. But that's still a gorgeous snake. Like, dude, look at the blues on it. Like that's hot.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. For sure. Oh, I see some crazy. Oh, okay. That's all good. But yeah, that's what I pulled up off the page. But yeah, so Dan, what you got working on over there in Australia?
Oh, I'm in the middle of things are pairing up at the moment, so I've got a few pairs breeding. And that's all I'm gonna say.
Understood.
Yeah.
Don't want to say too much. Hey, I understand, yo.
It sounds like that's more out of superstition than anything else.
Not really. I feel like, I don't know how you guys feel. I've produced a lot of chondros, probably, I don't know, over 200, 250 probably. But it feels like every year it's like, is she gonna go for me? Is she not gonna go for me?
Yeah.
She looks good. What's she doing now? Why has he stopped breeding her? You know.
Yeah.
So, you know, I drive my wife insane. Like, I have everything on cameras and wake up in the middle of the night checking what's going on. You know, so you know, I haven't relaxed at all. So look, the things I'm pairing this year is probably the first time I've paired the things that I paired this year, and if it comes off me, you know, I don't want to use these cliches, but it will be a game-changing type clutches. So we'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Are you the type of breeder that does repeat pairings, or do you tend to, like, each and every year do something different and try and mix things up?
I try to do something different.
Yeah.
Unless if something comes out of these clutches and they're wild, I'll do a repeat pairing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Some
Mark,
of the work that I've tried to do is just breed more diversity into my collection as well. It's super important to because we can't get outside blood. So really having one eye on diversity and being very planned in our pairings.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Mark, what about you? Hey, congrats on that Calico B out clutch. That thing is a fire.
Yeah.
Fire.
Yeah. I mean, right now is like the best time because those babies are turning they're like a year and a half old, so they're all like changing, and gosh, they look good. They look good, but they were all reds, so we won't show pictures.
No, we tried to get them on this side.
Well,
I've got a question for you, Mark. So with the calico, are there any yellow? What happens with the yellows in calico lines? Is that a thing or is it not a thing?
It's a thing. They're like, I have yellow neos from calico stuff, but they do not tend to exhibit the calico phenotype like the reds do.
Okay, cool.
I have held back some that have little hints of melanism or speckling or you know, some of that that I plan on breeding back into other calicos, and so trying to concentrate with it. But honestly, with the calico project, I'm not super concerned about yellow neos, because with that particular project, I'm just concerned about the bloodline in the lineage. But eventually there, like, my hope would be, oh yeah, cool, let's make some like wild looking yellow neos with calico blood in them. That'd be sick. But those crazy calicos that row that you're talking about, that it was calico to a blue line Biak. So the calico was a male who is red dominant, and I bred him to a yellow neo female. And I think that is what created a lot of that craziness, is mixing the two, the red dom with a yellow neo, and obviously some potent bloodlines to like, you know, make that explosion of color, which is super cool. So
I love this one right here. This is not one of the calico babies at all, y'all. This is another yellow neo that I don't know. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah,
This is one of my.
Yeah, so that is a offspring of a sib to sib pairing of Muse to Crow. Muse and Crow are both from Jack and Fiona. And every single one of those babies I held back. And that one with the black belly, that was one as well. But yeah, they, man, I mean, the amount of black real high up on the neck is just awesome. And then the amount of blue, and it's got black, it's got white, it's got blue, it's got everything. So yeah, this is the direction that I plan on taking a lot of my yellow neo projects, is creating more stuff like this. High black. I would love to add more yellow into that and have like a real like crazy multicolored animal. Adding everything. Black, blue, white, yellow, the whole gambit of colors into yellow neos.
Definitely.
Almost a different way to get a calico animal in a yellow neo.
Yeah, for sure.
And then this one right here, is going through its OCC, correct?
Waiting for it to come up.
Oh, okay.
No, that one is super unique. It's a mustard, like a mustard type animal with melanism all over it.
Sheesh. Oh my God.
And man, it's killer.
Did that one come from that same pairing?
Yeah.
What? That's why you got to hold back
the only one that
everything,
looks
guys. You got to hold back everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's beautiful.
Yeah. Really stoked about that one, and excited about plugging it in to something somewhere, because that one's special for sure.
I also liked it. Liked this one right here. One moment, it's loading up on my end.
That clutch mark, they were quite dark, weren't they? Very early on.
So this particular bloodline, I think it's the Rob Worrell bloodline. Like, one of them literally hatched out with green, like a green tint on its head.
Wow.
I had to keep looking at it going, am I imagining this? Like, or is it actually turning green? And for whatever reason, that bloodline of snakes, the yellow neos, they start changing very early, like within 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
They're starting their OCC, which is just unique to at least from what I've seen. But yeah, that one is the female that I bred that red dominant calico male to. So that's Honey Bear. And she is a blue line Biak cross. So her mom is a pure Biak, and her dad is a Andrew Amon blue line, with all types of cool stuff in its pedigree. But then you breed something like that to some of the powerful 20, 30-year-old lines like calico, and you're going to create some crazy stuff. So
yeah, I love that look. That's beautiful.
I love like
the yellows and the blues and the greens. It's just
that model,
like perfect.
Yeah, it's a cool snake.
Then Scott said he loved the cages. Hey man, you got this man right here. You got Mark and Jordan to thank for them cages, man. Them things are spectacular.
It's all Jordan. I'm an ideas man, and he makes it happen. So
them things are spectacular, bro. Yeah, man. But
yeah, I think I might need to move countries, I think.
No, hey, Australia needs you. Stay true.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. This clutch, is this a recent clutch that just hatched out? Mark, that you sent me. One moment. Let it pop up.
Yeah, so it's probably that female honey bear bred to war paint, which was that super high melanism male, and all yellow neos. And the reason I sent you some pictures of it is so that people can see the variation in the the colors of yellow, in the patterns of yellow. Like when you see all those babies clumped together, all of a sudden you see, man, this one's brighter than that one, and this one has a busier pattern, and there's those little subtleties that when you're looking hard enough, the like observant eye is going to pick out.
Right. I was trying to pull it up. StreamYard don't want to StreamYard.
Yeah, but yeah, so I hatched those out earlier this year, and they're still getting established, and they're doing great. But it's an all yellow clutch, and my hope is to send them to people that are going to take yellow neos seriously. So I think I have 15 or 16 of them, and I'll probably keep around half and sell about half. So this will be like the first like really potent yellow neo stuff that I am gonna let go of before it starts changing.
Okay. Definitely gonna talk to you about those. But then golly, StreamYard, come on, man. Let me bring up the picture, man.
Does it help if I send it to you on Facebook? I can do that if it helps. Actually, I might not be able to with that one, but we'll see.
Yeah, I was trying to pull up. I think it was Sundance. What was it? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, Sundance is wild.
Yeah.
He's another one of those lovely hot yellow chondros that refuses to breed and create offspring. It's a shame.
He's like, I just got him there, just
yeah.
Hey, hopefully next time you try to breed him, he will, perform for you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a heartbreaker when they refuse to breed. And Sundance unfortunately died before I was able to breed him. But man, he was one of the just one of the highest yellow green trees ever. Like he's phenomenal, and just hit, like, it doesn't show super well in this picture, but the dorsal pattern is this, like, it's almost blue, like kind of like you were saying, Dan, where it's like it's not that bright vibrant blue, but man, it's super close. And like, was this, if you could use him to refine a like 100% yellow snake with a blue dorsal, like he was close to being somewhere in that realm. But yeah, he was killer. He was produced by Kim Burge of Southern Chondros. She's still active. She still has some snakes, but isn't producing near what she did early on in her chondro career. Yeah, he's killer.
They're trying to see, it still won't pull up. It'll be okay at this point. That's good. The clutch pictures, I was trying to still pull those up, but at this point, it's all good.
Yeah. Well, if people want to see them, they can just message me about them.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Yeah, man. You know, again to the end of the show, please let everybody know where to find y'all at socials and everything. Even though it's going to be in the bio, but yeah.
I'm only active on Instagram. That's the only place you can find me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't do the other things.
Reptiles, right?
That's it. That's all. You'll see no pictures of myself. Just snakes.
Dan, do you keep any other species? Like,
Not anymore. No. I used to keep a lot of like carpet pythons and even some goannas and stuff like that, bearded dragons. But since 2010, I've just kept green trees.
Yeah.
Will, what's going on, Will?
Yeah, smart man.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard, like, my eldest son just turned 24, so I've got a 24-year-old, 22, and a 14-year-old daughter. So, you have seasons of your life, and you've got to juggle everything. It's hard work.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. How many animals you have over there, Dan?
At the moment, I've got about 20. I got 25. 25, and 22 of those are adults.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah. How about you, Mark? How many animals you have over there?
More than I'd like to admit, probably. Yeah, it's probably close to probably around like 25 to 30 adults, and then probably, I don't know, 15 grow ups and subadults. Yeah, probably more than that. and then a bunch of babies. So under,
Dan,
yeah, I tell my wife that I have under triple digits. So we're fine.
all good. It'll work out.
Yeah.
But what can we find you at?
Yeah, if you want to follow me and a bunch of the other Texas keepers, you can follow us on Instagram at TX Chondros. If you want to see what I'm working on and just like check out what I have available, you can look at the website, which is Texas Chondros, all spelled out, .com, or you can go on Facebook and search Texas Chondros there, and that's just my personal collection stuff.
Yeah, and also Mark does have a Patreon as well. Make sure y'all hit him up. It's a lot of good breeders and keepers in there. Very knowledgeable, know what they're talking about. Yeah, I'll put the link down in the bio as well for the Patreon. So
yeah, and Patreon, I mean, the real like benefit is you get in the Discord, which is great, and you get to talk with a bunch of people, but also you get first dibs on all the clutches and stuff. So as long as you're able to import. Sorry.
Yeah. But I'm finna put y'all backstage real quick, and then hang back there for like a minute or two. Finna say goodbye to the chat, and yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Ro.
Thanks, Ro.
No, thank y'all. We here at the Herp Collectors Network does not take y'all present lightly. Y'all come in here to talk an hour and a half to us about your experience, your knowledge, and you're teaching the future breeders, and that we need each other.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But all right, then, y'all. Talk to y'all in a little bit.
Thanks a lot.
Right. And ladies and gentlemen, that is it. Episode 37. A yellows are king. I hope we was able to convert some of y'all over, to the yellow side. I'm a big believer in yellows, and I think it's just getting started. Mark, when I first came in the game, Mark had a whole bunch of yellows and was showing me, I was like, yeah, you could do this with yellow, you could do that. And I've been over the Mark House several times, and it's always something new. And then he was like, yo, check this out, check this out. And, you know, it's fun, you know, playing with genetics and all that stuff. So make sure y'all follow those two good dudes on Instagram and Facebook and whatnot. But until then, see y'all later. Hey, take care of your loved ones. Call your loved ones. Tell them that you miss them. You love them. And yeah, man. Talk to y'all guys later. See y'all in next week. Next week, Chondro Corner, man.
Chondro, corner where we rise and grow. Twist and turn, let the passion flow. Chondro, corner watch the future shine. Every scale a story, one of a kind. Chondro.
From the shadows we move, striking out bright. In every twist we find the light. Breeding the best, gotta have patience in this game. Chondro Corner, where we make our name. Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner, Chondro Corner.